All right, so we just got done talking about ranking our photos, and I went through and I ranked all of my photos. There's 269 of them. That's kind of time consuming, and I do want to, for full disclosure, I want to be clear that, right, if I rate a photo below a 3, that's a pretty good chance I'm never going to use that photo, which means I'm probably never going to edit it. And to be honest, I probably don't really edit the 3s either. So sometimes, like in my real practice, how I use stars is I rank 5s and 4s. And then everything else is just I don't mess with. Now, if I was in a bind and let's say I was working on a project and I ranked all the 5s and 4 ranked photos, so those are my 5-star photos are my very best. My 4-star photos are pretty good, but maybe there's one that I like better. And then the 3s I don't bother with, 2s I don't bother with, and 1s I don't bother with. I just skip past those. But if I was in a bind and I needed a photo and I didn't have it in my 5s or 4s, I could go back and then find the ones that are unmarked and try to find one of those to bring up to a 4 or a 5. So that's just, in reality how I use the star ranking. I wouldn't go through and actually hit 3, 2, 1, because I would just assume maybe 3s, right? Because 3s would be the ones that you could pull up. Those might be good enough to make it into the cut. 1s and 2s are not going to be anything you want to pay attention to, so I don't even mark those. But that's up to you how you decide to use that tool. So now we're going to dive into how to make collections. So collections are a really powerful organizational tool in Lightroom. So thus far we've talked about folders, where we're creating folders. Folders are actually moving the files in your source folder. So if I click out of Lightroom and go to my source folder, the RAWs, Lightroom created these folders. Remember, I never do it out here. I do it through Lightroom, which is fine, but I think in an earlier video I alluded to this. The problem with folders is if I have a photo, let's say this picture of my dog. So this is my dog, or this one up here. This is my dog in my house. And in my folders, I have two folders. I have Shiloh, who is my dog, and a house folder. Well, this could fit in either of those, but I can't put this image in both of those folders. It has to go in one or the other. It can't live in two separate folders unless I make a copy of the file, which I don't really want to do because if you keep making copies of files to organize them, it's going to get really, really confusing. So that's the downside with folders. And I don't really use folders very much in Lightroom. I depend on collections. The good thing about collections is where folders, you're actually moving your files around. Collections is creating virtual organization methods for your photos. Nothing moves. Your photos don't move. And your photos can be in multiple different collections. Okay? So my photo of my dog and my house could be in Shiloh collection, house collection. So it doesn't have to be either or. So I think that that's a really powerful tool. So I'm going to just scroll through my photos and I'm going to make a collection of my dog photos. So I'm going to scroll through real quick. There's Shiloh. I'm going to hold down Command so I can select pictures that are not next to each other. Let's see what we got here. This is such a hodgepodge of photos that I have here that we're working on. Okay. I have a very cute dog, obviously. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, and that might have been all my Shiloh photos. Or wait. Yep, that's all my Shiloh photos. Okay, so I have those highlighted. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to hit the plus sign next to collections and hit create collection. When the Create Collection dialog box opens, I'm going to name my collection. I'm going to name this Shiloh. I misspelled her name for a second there. Shiloh. And inside a collection set, and I'm going to include selected photos, and I'm going to hit Create. Now, there's these tabs right here that say Make New Virtual Copies. That's how you could make copies of all of your images. I have no idea why you would do that, because like I said, you're virtually moving these photos around. You're not actually moving them around, so there's no need to make a copy. So just make sure you have include selected photos picked. So I'm going to hit create. All right, and now I have under collections, I have a collection of 20 photos called Shiloh with all my photos of Shiloh. So now if I go back out, these photos still live in all photographs. They're still out here, okay? But if I want to just look at pictures of Shiloh, I could click in this collection, sorry. Lightroom is slowing down on me here. There we go. I can look at just Shiloh photos. Okay, let's go back out to all photographs. And now I'm going to show you that they can live in multiple. So now I'm going to pick all the photos of my house. So once again, command. So command just allows it so that you can pick pictures that are not next to each other. If you're picking a bunch of pictures next to each other, that's kind of hard to say, you can hit shift. Really quick, I'm just going through, and notice that some of these pictures that are in my house collection are also in the Shiloh collection. Okay, we're going to pretend that that's all my photos of my house. Oh, there's a couple more. Let's be honest here. Okay, so now I have all of these selected. So I'm going to go back over to collections and hit plus, and I'm going to say create collection, and I'm going to call it house. Inside a collection set, include selected photos, create. So now under collections, I have house with 33 photos, Shiloh with 20. If I click in Shiloh, here's these 3 photos of Shiloh in my house, and if I go to house, they're also right here with the third one right there. So you can have multiple photos in different collections. I think that that's super helpful. So one way that you could organize your photos in this class would be to go and say, 1 through whatever 60. These are your assignment 1 photos. So you could go and say, with these selected, you could say collection plus create a collection, assignment 1, including selected photos, create. So now you have a collection of your assignment 1 photos. Let's see where those are. Those are right here. There's 60 photos in there. If I just want to look at my assignment 1 photos, I can click on this and it'll show me just the 60 that I selected. Remember, they still live out here in all photographs with the rest of them, but this is just a way to pull them out and aside. So now we're going to dive into, this is a really good way of organizing images, but it's not the end-all be-all. I would say the end-all be-all way would be smart collections. And it's part of the reason that we went through and ranked our photos. So let's go over to collections and let's go create a smart collection. Okay. Oh, actually, before I do this, let me show you really quick. So let's say that I made my assignment 1 folder and I realized that there's a couple photos that didn't make it in there. These ones are also for assignment 1 and I didn't bring them in there. So I'm going to select them, hold down shift, select all of them, and then I can oops, sorry, I always do that. You have to click inside a photo and then drag it and drop it in assignment 1. So now I just added these 10 more photos in with the 60 that were in assignment 1. So if I click in assignment 1, they are going to be in there. Sorry, my Lightroom is lagging right now. So there are my 70 pictures for assignment 1. So once you make your collection, you can just click and drag photos into it. All right, so now let's talk about smart collections. So now if I want to make a smart collection, actually, we're going to do smart collections in the next video. All right, I'll see you then.